Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation, your everyday Rangers news channel, guys. And I'm your host, Owen David. Thanks so much for choosing to watch another video. Please hit that sub, ring that notification bell. Anyway, we're going to talk January transfer window. It is now the 3rd of January. Why the hell haven't Rangers signed a load of... it's... forget it as a joke, guys. It's a joke. Look, January is going to be a bit... It sounds like it's going to be a very busy window for Rangers. Post-game yesterday, Philippe Clement, who was interviewed, obviously, as regards the game, also was asked about the January transfer window. And he spoke about the fact that it would be, in his words, a very active window, which leads me to believe there will be players coming in, there will be players going out. I think, there will be a need to shift some players on. If you look at our squad size, our squad is, I think, ostensibly very bloated indeed. There are a number of players in this squad who, need to be moved on, need to be shipped out, because of the fact that, we can't run with this huge squad. We can't sign more players and load even more onto an already bloated wage bill. I think there is a real need to move some on. Now, there is, of course, a whole series of debates to be had around who is a player that you might want to see go, who is a player you want to see stay. That's obviously the question, isn't it? It is a key. It is a big question. The squad size at the moment is 32, which is very, very big. I think it's way too big. Yes, we have needed that squad over recent weeks, given the number of injuries. The average age of our squad is currently running at 27.2. Which is quite old, really. You could do with getting the average age down. 23 of our 32 players are foreigners. There are 9 homegrown players. Again, something we could do with raising. Given the fact that quotas, etc. Yes, we do have young players coming through, but we could do with someone, like a Lawrence Shankland or like a Connor Barron or even a Josh Doig, for example. Now, there's a story going round this morning. It was SM Media that broke it. My good buddy Scott McPike from SM Media, and it's been also carried by a number of other areas and a number of other sources regarding... what should we call him? Misfit Sam Lammers. Sam Lammers, who has, I think we can all commonly agree that Sam Lammers, the transfer of Sam Lammers for £3 million has been an unmitigated disaster. He hasn't shown anything. He's slow on the ball. He gives away the ball an awful lot. I don't think anyone truly knows what his best position is. He's not a winger because he's not fast enough. He's not really a 10 because he's not influential enough. He doesn't create enough chances. He's not decisive enough on the ball. He doesn't move the ball quick enough. Certainly not in the same... He's not in the same class as Cantwell or Dowell, or even to some extent Yanis Hadji, who's not even with the club anymore. So look, I think we can all kind of agree that Sam Lammers has not been a success at all. And fans have even taken to calling him a worse player than Cyril Dessers, which, given how the fact that Dessers has not been great either. And we'll talk a little bit about Cyril Dessers shortly. I think he is a player that does need to be moved on. Now, according to SM Media, the club are looking to move Lammers out on a loan to buy. Now, I think when it comes to players like Sam Lammers and Cyril Dessers, the only way we are going to get rid of them is on loan to buy. So we loan them to a club first. Hopefully they play reasonably well for that club. That club then wants to spend some money on them, because at this moment in time, as a club chairman or as a club manager, I would not want to risk any cash on these two. The £7.5 million between them. I think realistically, we've got to resign ourselves to the fact that we are going to take a big loss on them. You're not going to get back £4.5 million for Cyril Dessers, and you're certainly not going to get back £3 million for Sam Lammers. A little look over Sam's statistics. Champions League qualifiers, he played 4 games, had 1 assist, was in 25% of the starting 11s. Not bad, I suppose. League Cup 4 appearances, played 75% of the starting 11, 64% of the minutes, didn't contribute any goals, did not contribute any assists during the League Cup run. Europa League statistics, he's played 6 times. He has been heavily used in the Europa League due to the injuries and the squad disaster, thanks to Michael Beale. He's played in 83% of the starting 11s, 79% of the minutes, yet has got a 0% goal contribution, which, when you consider that he was played largely as a 10 in those games, is not good. Realistically, your 10 needs to be the guy who's influencing the game, creating the chances, linking the play, going out wide, going into the middle, roaming pretty much everywhere. Something that Todd Cantwell does, that Kieran Dowell can do, that Yanis Hadji can do when he's here. Certainly in the Europa League, Sam Lammers has flattered to deceive massively. In the SPFL, he's scored 2 goals, 1 assist, again, and only a 7% goal participation. He's played in half of the starting 11s and played nearly half of the minutes in the SPL. So you'd expect a better goal return for someone who cost 3 million and, like I said, is largely, allegedly, a 10. I mean, he's not a 9. I don't really know what he is. His previous record and statistics suggested that when he came to the club, he wasn't going to be a success. His goal record is not good, apart from, I think, one season at Hohenveen. His assist record is poor. During his time in Italy, he was not a good player at all. Largely, perhaps, some of that was down to how he was used. I accept that. But, you've just got to watch that, he's slow on the ball. He's dithersome on the ball. Yeah, he works hard. Of course, he does work hard. I'll give him that. But he doesn't create anywhere near enough chances. And certainly, if you've got a team that goes through their 10 an awful lot, as we seem to do it at the club, you need someone who's going to be influential, who's going to create chances, who's going to take chances. Some of his misses as well, the header against Aberdeen, he should have buried. There was a shot, I think, that he against Dundee, or maybe even Motherwell, I can't remember who it was now. I think it was Dundee, actually, that nearly hit the corner flag rather than actually hitting the goalkeeper. For me, it would be a great move if we could get rid of Sam Lammers on a loan to buy. His time must be up. I know this is a very short-lived period, but I think he's had more than enough opportunities, looking at that appearances record and that percentage of minutes played record that he's got in across the 4 competitions that Rangers have been involved in this season. And he's been an unused sub in the last couple of games, even against Celtic when we're chasing the game, and Cyril Dessers is playing particularly poorly. At no point does Philippe Clement look along the bench and go, "Go on then, Sam, go and save us." He never even moves to bring Sam Lammers on. So that in itself tells a story, doesn't it? That he doesn't rate the guy. So I think personally it is time to move him on. I also would be looking for a loan to buy for this guy as well. I know we're kind of short in that number 9 position, but hopefully, with Fabio Silva, who looked lively last night, if he can hit the ground running, we can go out and sign a striker, someone, like Lawrence Shankland. Don't want to keep banging on about it. But we've also got Zach Lovelace returning in January. If you've got Lovelace, Shankland and Silva, then I think you've got more than enough up top there. And realistically, is Cyril Dessers, if you've got Lovelace and Shankland and Silva, is Cyril Dessers going to figure? No, he's not, because he's not better than any of those players. I'd rate even young Zach Lovelace as a better player than him. Yes, he played a fantastic pass last night. I get that 100%. But he, overall game, again, was very poor. 5 out of 10 at the very max. He was slow on the ball again. He didn't hold the ball up well. The team looked more aggressive, looked quicker, looked better once Silva came on up front. Go back and watch the tape. He wants far too many touches. There was these block shot, for example, whereas if he swings and hits that first time, rather than trying to drag it onto his left foot, he probably at least works the goalkeeper over. You go back to the Celtic game where he takes like 18 touches when he only needed to take a maximum of 3. Again, last night, there was a number of misses. The header, he never gets over that. His heading technique is very, very poor indeed. Again, last night, he was poor. He was very poor. I know some fans don't agree with that. I know some fans are thinking that he's God's gift because he got that 1 assist. For me, Dessers is done at this club. And look, I know that that's an unpopular opinion with some, a popular opinion with others. I know some people don't like us saying nasty things about our players. But look, it is a fact. The guy is useless. He is absolutely not up to the task. He's not a Rangers number 9. He's not a starting player. He needs to be got rid of. And if we can move him on in January, that would be a bonus. There is, of course, rumours as well. We've got 3 players who are out of contract at the end of this season. And I would really like a situation where we don't walk into another Helander, Morelos, Kent, Arfield type situation where those players walk for nothing. Borna Barisic, John Lundstrom and Kemar Roof. Now, realistically, I think with Kemar Roof, you've just got to kind of write that one off. We are going to lose him for nothing. I cannot see any team taking a punt on him in January because, the old adage of, we can get him fit. Well, what makes you think you can get him fit? None of his previous teams, Leeds United, Anderlecht, no one's ever been able to get him fit. So for me, that is one we do have to write off. Borna Barisic. Now, look, Borna is out of contract in the summer. I think, if we are truly intending to bring in a left back, a Kai Jansen, or Kai Wagner, that's the guy's name. Kai Wagner, the guy from Philadelphia Union, or even intending to bring in Josh Doig, pay a little bit of cash, bring Josh Doig in, who would be a very good signing indeed. I would really like to see Josh Doig in a Rangers shirt. I think he would be a great signing and a good player, and also someone who would fit our player trading model, someone, again, who would actually add something to this team. I think it's time, if we can, to move Borna on. Ridvan has played really well in recent weeks, and now he's getting a run of games. He's showing himself to be a real good a good left back, and I think a lot better than Borna. For me, it's time Borna was moved on. I'm sure that we could possibly get a little bit of cash. I'm not talking about big money now, but some cash at least for him in January. Perhaps a Croatian club to send him back home. That for me would be a good move by the club. I personally think that, Borna's time at the club is over. He was a great servant during 55, don't get me wrong. But for me, it is time for him to move on. And if we can get something from him in January, I think it's a deal we need to do. John Lundstrom is another matter. Now, John has played really well in recent weeks. And since Philippe Clement has come in, he's kind of become a real leader on and off the pitch, according to Philippe. And Philippe is obviously very impressed with him because he plays him week in, week out. And even coming off the back of an injury, he gets back in the team. For me, I know what some fans are saying. I get what some fans are saying, that we need to move on from certain players. It's time to push them out. It's time to get rid. Lundstrom, though, has proved in recent weeks what a valuable part he can be to this team. Now, there is obviously the worry that he's playing for a contract and that once he gets his contract, he'll slip into his bad old ways again. That's why I would personally give him a 2-year deal with a 1-year option. That 2-year deal then would give us an option that if he does slip back into his bad old ways of giving the ball away, second touches a tackle, you're not putting in the effort, etc., we can then shift him on for at least some money. I think we make sure that any contract that he signs is not on a big wage. I think we could get him to agree to that. He does want to stay at the club. He's made that very clear. But for me, a 2-year deal with a 1-year option gives us the power over Lundstrom. Now, the talk obviously is going to be always about who are we going to sign, and the rumours are going to be rife. And as Philippe Clement said, we're not going to sign 10 players. And he said that some of the names that have been linked have been very wrong. Personally, I think, the rumours surrounding Million Manhoef look, to really carry some credence. The sources that are talking about that out in Holland are quite credible sources. So, look, there is a good possibility that he could come in, and I think he would be a very good buy. He is a player that can play in a number of different positions: left back, left wing, right wing. He is a good player, quick, skillful. And he's certainly someone that obviously that new sporting director who joined yesterday, Niels Koppen, will have seen up close and personal. I think obviously that is someone that we definitely could do with. Josh Doig is another one. Again, now there is a story coming out of Italy that Josh Doig could be a done deal if Rangers can do some deal regarding Ridvan Yilmaz. Now, I wouldn't want to see Ridvan leave. I'd rather just pay the money and get Josh Doig and have Doig and Ridvan as our left backs. But having said that, the story coming out of Italy at this moment in time is that Hellas Verona are very interested in Ridvan Yilmaz. And there could be a deal to do with Yilmaz, some cash, and Josh Doig, apparently. Now, that for me would be a possible one. That would obviously mean we have to keep Borna Barisic at least until the end of the season, which wouldn't be great, but it is a means to an end. I think we then Borna would have to then walk for nothing in the summer, unless obviously you go down the route of looking at some of our young players coming through, John Lee Yefeko, Robbie Fraser, for example. Adam Devine can also play left back. Dujon Sterling can play left back, although I do think moving Dujon into the back four would be a mistake. He is by far our best midfield player at the moment. I mean, you've got to look. I mean, that's pirouette, the Cruyff turn yesterday, absolutely outstanding. Again from Dujon when he came on. So that is an interesting one, and it is certainly a rumour strong one that is coming out of Italy from a number of Italian sports. Now, we know that Italy have a number of Italian sports newspapers, don't we? We know that Gazzetta dello Sport, etc., then that's all they pick on. But it certainly seems that is something that has been very heavily discussed and rumoured at the moment, that Ridvan could go to Verona for Josh Doig. Personally, I'll take the deal. I think Josh Doig is a very good player. I think he's been Scottish as well. He'd help our quota. He is a talented player. He's a big guy. He's a strong guy. He's quick. He's good in defence. He's a player I would have bought for 3 million back in the day, but hey, there we go. That is a good option for me if it comes off. I think there is a need to go and get a central midfield player as well. I would love to see us go for Connor Barron, who is obviously out of contract. A little bit of cash could possibly secure him, even though it is the sheep you'd have to do business with. Now, another story that came out today regarding the transfer window is around Fabio Silva. Now, the story around Fabio is that he picked Rangers over some even bigger offers. He was given some mega bucks offers to go on loan to other clubs, but instead he chose to come to Rangers. He is a player obviously that's moved for big fees, 35 million being that major fee that he moved for from Porto to Wolves. Talking about Silva, Clement yesterday did say, I think it's always great if a player does good things in training, and he did yesterday. To give him minutes at Ibrox, that's a magical place the first time. He also has to feel this. Then you go also into this break. It's different when you are on the bench all the time. He understands the story because we had a lot of talks before he came about football and how I see players playing. We spoke about several positions, not only one where he can play. That's an interesting remark. We'll come back to that. And how I see that. He could have gone to places where he could earn much more money, but he came for the football story, for the tradition of the club, also to win trophies, because he is somebody who is really ambitious. It was good to get him his first impression of things, and in that 20 minutes, you didn't have the feeling it was a player who didn't know his teammates. So that is already a very positive thing, because it's not easy as an attacking player to come into a new team where you don't know the other guys, or how to run and play, or who gives decisive balls, or who likes to dribble. You need to get that connection with them. You see already that he is a player, and he will suit the way we play football. Some great comments there from Philippe Clement about Fabio Silva, which is fantastic. To hear that he is so highly rated. He's already settled in so well. It's good news for Rangers. Now, the fact as well that Philippe Clement clearly sees Fabio Silva as being more than just a forward, more than just a 9. He sees him as playing in a number of positions is, I think a definite, this guy can play 10, he can play 9, he can play a wing, he can play in a number of different positions. So for me, it is a great positive, especially obviously with Abdallah Sima now going off to the African Cup of Nations. Now, the other thing as well about old Fabio Silva was I felt yesterday, I don't know what you guys thought, but once he came on yesterday, I honestly thought that Rangers looked more aggressive. They look better going forward. They look quicker going forward. I just feel, and again, I know this is slaughtering Cyril Dessers, that Dessers just slows everything down. Whereas this guy doesn't seem to. He seems to have the ability to play quick, the ability to play with some speed, the ability to be aggressive, the ability to do his job well. So, look, I'm excited to see what Fabio Silva can bring. And I think, it could be a possibility that if we go out and say we do get someone like a Lawrence Shankland, which I'm really praying we do, because I know he divides the fan base. I understand that. I get that. But the guy scores goals. And I honestly believe that if we were to bring him into Rangers, even in this January transfer window, he could easily score somewhere in the region of 15 to 20 goals in this second half of the season. He is that good. We create enough chances, I think, to really, to him to score. I think yesterday that chance that falls to Dessers where he slows the ball down, I think Shankland takes it first time, and I think Shankland buries it. I think with Abdallah being away, that Fabio Silva could, work from the left. He's certainly got that talent. He seems to be both-footed. He can also work from the right as well, if you want to spell Ross McCausland. Or he could also play in that 10 role if perhaps Cantwell slips back into his bad old ways, which he didn't yesterday, thank goodness. So there's a lot to talk about over these wins, and we'll obviously be keeping all over it here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. Wanted to bring this video just to get some talking points out there, get you talking, get you commenting. I love to read your comments, and as you know, unlike a lot of the other providers and a lot of the other channel podders, I do try to reply to all your comments personally. I do read them, and I love reading them. I read them on break at work. I read them before I go to bed. I reply to them whenever I can, guys. So please keep those comments coming. Even the long ones are RM. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. And as always, if you could do 2 jobs for me on the way out, it would be phenomenal. Number 1, smash that like. And number 2, always remember, never forget, we are the people.